Something about Puerto Rico.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What's up, Matthew?
Hello. Not too much. A little tired today, but here we are back recording on a Monday evening.
But it's Wednesday for everyone else. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday for listening to this on a Wednesday. Or any other day. Happy every day of the week.
It's special on Wednesday because it came out on Wednesday.
Exactly.
Middle of the week. It's almost Friday.
Friday.
And next week's Canada Day.
So it be. Next weekend.
June is over.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of flew by.
Yes, it did.
It flew by.
It flew.
Busy month for you.
It's been a very busy month, actually. A lot of interesting things. A lot of work, actually. I haven't really taken a day off.
Take a day off.
I can't. I got more stuff to do.
He's got plenty of things to do.
I do.
So, as of recording this, I don't even know what the event was called, but I think it was in Brazil, some sort of Netflix or something event.
Oh, yes.
Where they revealed some shows, some sneak peeks of shows, some trailers, first-time trailers for shows, etc. And we got the long-awaited, hyped up, I don't know quite. I would say people were definitely curious. We got the One Piece live-action trailer, which, as of Wednesday, when you're listening to this, you'll probably see Matt's first reaction to it.
Yes.
Made sure to hold him off, which is hard to do. Matt's usually the one who's on top of seeing trailers. Yeah. But he was busy, so I was able to be the first one to see it and was like, don't watch it! Don't do it! So you'll get Matt's first reaction to it. But we'll do a little blurb about both of us, I guess, here on the podcast. We're both obviously we're One Piece fans. I think that's pretty safe to say at this point.
Yep, just a little bit.
And, of course, this isn't... One Piece, if you don't know, is a ridiculously long series. So if the show could even potentially be somewhat successful, they could have a lot of episodes and a lot of seasons. A lot of success. But they have to do it right.
I mean, considering if you look, they did Death Note.
Well, they haven't done anything. No live action, whether it's Netflix or any other, has done anything. I stand by that. I think the best live action I've seen of an anime is the Tokyo Ghoul, the first movie we saw. Because the CGI was actually half decent. Like, it wasn't jarring by any means. And it didn't look off-putting. Like, it all kind of looked okay. Whereas a lot of the multiple Attack on Titans and the Full Metal Alchemist, like, they're all awful.
I do agree with that.
Cowboy Bebop wasn't great, which should have been... That one should have been so easy. That should have been a shoo-in for just do it right.
You think that, but...
no.
Apparently not.
So, yeah, so we got the One Piece trailer. We got to see all the cast, what they look like. And then we got to see the toxic community go ham on it.
Yeah, so Connor, what are your opinion on the One Piece trailer?
Well, the trailer looked fine, I'd say overall. I will say that I'm not excited, but I'm not disappointed with it from what I saw so far.
That's fair.
I still will go into the show very, 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 to the floor expectations. Like, there are no expectations. I'm just going to watch it and be like,
It's hard.
But I will give them credit where credit is due, and I think they did a good job of realizing some things just don't make sense for live action. Like,
correct.
One Piece is crazy. It is a crazy...
Insane character designs.
It's crazy long. The character designs, for the most part, are whack.
Yep.
The powers are whack. Some of the fighting styles are whack. 3 swords looks awesome in anime. A guy spinning around with 3 swords, blocking stuff with a sword in his mouth and whatnot. But if you imagine a real human doing that, it just looks and sounds ridiculous.
Yes, I agree.
So I was that's why I was always skeptical. Like One Piece just for me does not make sense as a live action.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited, obviously, to see it. Again, I'm very similar to you where I have super low expectations. Like, I don't want to have high expectations. Because even, like, if you've read the beginning of One Piece or watched the earlier episodes of One Piece, like, Arlon Park, like you said, like, the fish man.
Yeah, I brought this up to Matt where this first arc, like first season, seems to be going up to the Baratier arc, which is where they pick up Sanji.
Yeah.
And after that is when we go into Arlong. But we won't see that. We won't know if it's going to get renewed. We don't know if we'll get that second season.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone is relatively normal-esque in the series at that point.
Yeah, more or less. Like, there's going to be some characters that are going to be a little bit different, but not to the extent that's going to be full CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Ish.
Or have to have good makeup. One or the other, whether it's full CGI or
practical effects.
Good practical effects.
Yeah.
But either way, a whole bunch of fishmen, that could look really bad. But we're not up there yet. Nope. So for initial character designs, I thought, surprisingly, Zoro looked really good. I thought the green hair and everything was going to look a little bit but they did a good job.
I do agree with that, for sure.
We saw a little bit of fighting from him, not three-sword style, using two
for a
swords.
Second.
We see him basically posed with three swords, but we don't see him fight with three swords. We saw him fight with two swords.
Yeah. It looks good, though. For the choreography, I think, looks pretty
decent.
Netflix, for what I've seen from their originals and stuff, their choreography is always pretty solid.
We saw Usopp doesn't have his crazy nose. Makes sense, because that just doesn't
prosthetic
make sense.
just would not look good.
Well, it just doesn't make sense for a real human.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sanji didn't have his signature eyebrows. Once again, would be absolutely ridiculous for a regular human. So I'm totally okay with these decisions. I know that some of the community was absolutely livid about them. How could you not have Sanji's eyebrows? How can you not have this? How can Luffy's scar not be so pronounced? I thought from a realistic point of view, they did a great job. It's a live action. You can't make it look extra fake.
Well, that's the thing, too. Even, like, from a comic book standpoint, you and I have seen this in the past, too, when, like, a certain character comes out and it's like, why does this character have blonde hair? In the comics, it's red hair all the time. And it's like...
Harry Potter. His eyes.
Yep.
That one they probably could have done a better job of. I mean,
yeah, but
there's easy technology and...
But at the same time, that's such, like... Harry Potter, I guess, the eye color is, like, not obscure, but obscure
It's
detail.
important because it's his mom. Everyone else...
Yeah.
But you can just cast someone to have the similar eye color to Daniel Radcliffe. It's not...
Exactly. It's not rocket science, not the end of the world. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think. I remember there was a certain superhero when they got casted and they were in the movie. People were like freaking out because it was not the right hair color. I can't remember. It was a Marvel movie, but I can't remember what it was. It was something stupid. But that's what I mean,
it
right?
Doesn't matter. People weren't excited about what's his face for Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
and then he turned out to be like the most perfect looking Doctor Strange ever.
Pretty damn good, if you ask me.
People can do stuff with makeup and hair.
Crazy, eh? Crazy what we have
Wowza.
with practical effects and
obviously Luffy curly hair, not curly hair in the manga. But I thought, I know that a lot of people
take away from it though. Like it's not as deciding.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's not like who cares. Like who cares?
Yeah.
I know that some people were complaining about. There's quite the laundry list of things that people want to nitpick.
Yeah.
If we want to be nice, the characters all look. You can make out who was who.
Mm-hmm.
They took out some of the more
outrageous character features.
Yeah, and took out a lot of some of the anime out of it, which you kind of have to do for a series. You got to tone it down. We saw Buggy, who seemed to be a mixed bag for a lot of people. I liked him. I don't know how you felt about it.
He looks pretty solid overall. I kind of make a comment in the video that you guys will be able to see on our YouTube. Like it looks CGI, but at the same time, like
you only see that one clip.
Yeah.
For me, I thought he looked kind of perfect. Yeah, he's scary looking, and yes, in the manga he ends up being a little bit of a gag character, but
he's still
isn't that better if he looks scary and he's a gay character?
Exactly.
He looks that menacing and he really isn't.
Yep.
Because you think about it from the series, I'm not going to try and spoil much for One Piece, but where he ends up, you don't end up where he is without having at least some sort of
fear tactic of
menacing looking.
Exactly.
At least the looks might back up the.
I do agree.
Trade. So I thought he looked pretty good. We only saw like a really little clip of Shanks.
You see behind him, you see him wearing it's what's probably going to end up being in the first episode, obviously.
We saw the what is it called? The Guardian of the Coast or the sea monster.
Oh yeah.
In the for Luffy's home village.
Yep.
The one scene, buzz. The one scene was definitely more like no, it's CGI, but the one was more noticeable, and then there was a second scene with it that looked a lot cleaner.
Yep.
So that was good. I know that there's a lot of really good practical stuff. The ship is a completely made
Which is
set.
insane.
So that's pretty cool. Some of the set design did look a little how would you say not beginnery, but lower budget, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell what parts because there's the scene with where Zoro's trapped. That set kind of, you can tell it's a set, if that makes sense, which I feel like takes you out of it a bit. I don't know if that's...
Could just be the certain shots they picked, but like it also depends like what it kind
of...
of...
That's nitpicky, but at the same time...
I see what you mean, though, yeah. It's kind of looks setty, like just a film.
Like you can tell it's a set, it doesn't feel as real. But...
We got the giant poster in the back, or like the... What do you want to call that?
The
I
captain.
guess a poster, yeah.
But there were some like Marvel-like one-liners.
Which is whatever, I think.
The cast overall seems pretty solid. They look pretty solid.
I think so too.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is we didn't see too much in terms of like fighting and how the story really will be progressing. Maybe obviously there's going to be things that are skipped, and I'm sure people will not enjoy that. We saw a little glimpse of Luffy's power.
Yep.
Which looked
honestly,
bad.
It doesn't look bad at all in my opinion.
I maybe wasn't the biggest fan of the actor's delivery of the move. This is another thing that I heard a lot of people have watched One Piece subbed. Don't watch the dub ever. So I know that a lot of people, it's probably pretty jarring or pretty ooh when you hear gum pistol instead of like gomo no pistol.
Yeah. That's fair. I can see why people would be like, ooh, it's not accurate.
Because the Luffy voice for sub is iconic.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean,
you're never gonna get that voice.
No, you're not.
It's a different person. So you can't have a Japanese woman
play. Yeah, he's not gonna dub it over.
An old Japanese woman be Luffy.
Maybe she'll dub it over sub it.
Maybe, but I think the actor that they casted, and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he seemed to capture, I guess, like the playful essence of Luffy, of young Luffy.
I think he fits it pretty well.
I got the vibe where I was like, you can almost believe that
kid.
he's and that he wants to do this thing, and
exactly.
He's got like that charisma.
I have a dream. Let's do it.
You can believe he has the charisma to get people to join him.
Exactly.
Which I feel is important for Luffy.
I do agree.
Zoro, and the few lines you saw, he had that kind of serious tone. Felt fitting. Don't believe we saw Sanji talk.
No. We see him jump in the water and
grab
grab Luffy.
Usopp with his
slingshot.
His slingshot. I hope they skip his whole arc.
It's such an awkward arc.
Or just speed through it, you know? They get there.
It's just an episode.
He's lying. You're like, okay, I get the idea that he's a lying wimp. You get the important parts from it. You know? Maybe they beat I can't remember his name, the cat guy.
Yeah, I got nothing. I know.
They beat him.
Oh gosh, I'm curious how they're gonna look.
And then they get the ship. I hope they just kind of do like the important parts of that arc,
and not drag it on for too long.
I'm not a big fan of Surf Village in its entirety. It just felt like really drawn out.
It did.
I guess that's early One Piece in general.
Yeah. Early One Piece was very dragged out. But then you say that it's funny because the One Piece arcs are now like 70+ chapters.
Oh yeah, but to be fair, I did see some people complaining about Wano for it being drawn out, but I thought it was pretty
overall.
Good. I did feel that Whole Cake
did a little bit
drawn out a bit. Dressrosa in some parts, yeah, but the man just finds more things he wants to share and tell, and I'm all for it.
That's fair.
But yeah, that was the big one. They also did the cast reveal of for Avatar: The Last Airbender of what they look like in costume, which they all looked pretty good.
Aang looks pretty accurate. I mean, honestly, all characters that we've seen for 4 photos. That was a tongue twister for
the
me.
photos, Zuko looks good. And you were mentioning that you're enjoying a lot of the casting they've done. They've done a very wide cast, which makes sense for the world of Avatar.
Yeah, because we've talked about on the Avatars, like on the episodes earlier, but like how when they were creating the world of Avatar, like different nations are based on different
regions of the world.
Exactly.
And they did that. They did a very I thought they did a pretty good job cast, and like you mentioned, there's some indigenous.
So like the girl that plays Katara, for example, her actress name is I may butcher this and I apologize. Kia Wanatu, which she's a Canadian American actress, but she's from a reserve alongside the Ontario, Quebec, New York border, which is a Mohawk tribe that she belongs to. But she's done a couple like roles as different indigenous characters before, but the fact that she's playing Katara, who is, I mean, they're based off indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super happy that they have like, I don't even know, like
just
representation in
from
general.
what feels like an accurate. Yeah. Then we have some Japanese, I believe. We have some. We have
Korean, a lot of Korean actors and actresses too, for the fire.
And then some white people.
Then you got to get those white people in there, baby.
But I like it. Will it be good? Have no idea. We haven't seen a trailer. We have no nothing.
We will see.
It's another one where there is pinnacle CGI in this, like that will really judge. Bending has to look great.
Mm-hmm.
Appa has to look real but not creepy.
Yeah. I have no other words. Just I agree.
You know, he has to look real, but also be cute and not creepy at the same time. It's a very tough design. He's such an important character in the show, in the series. Was there anything else that kind of popped out during their announcements?
A few things, but I'm just super excited because this one actor is playing. Oh my gosh, what's his friend's name? His best friend from his childhood that's in charge of the Earth Village and stuff now.
Oh yeah, the king.
Yeah, I just saw his name. Where did it go? Anyways, the actor that's playing him is super funny.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like super excited for that because that fits.
He is a funny character. Wacky.
King Boomy.
Very
That's
wacky.
What it is. Yeah. So for the other Netflix event, we'll speed through some things. We'll skip some things. But Squid Game season 2 got announced.
I don't think it'll be nearly as big as the original.
It won't be. Bridgerton season 3 got some
You
images.
and Bridgerton. Don't think those things are ever ending.
Yeah, Bridgerton. I don't know.
It's just very popular.
It is. Some other ones. Love It Blind season 5. Cobra Kai got a message because their season 6 is currently on hiatus because of the writer's strike. They're making another TV show for Archie, like Riverdale and stuff. But the difference about this one is it's an
follow the comics. Oh,
it's an upcoming musical drama. Takes place in the 1960s India. So it's all Indian actors and actresses. And literally you've seen them in the comics, in books, and in Riverdale, but this time around you'll see them in India. Set in the 60s, the Archies build a world that's both familiar and new.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. I think that's basically all the really big things. Oh yeah, Witcher season 3.
Oh yeah, The Witcher.
Yeah. Season 3, volume 1. This is the last time Henry Cavill's going to be in it, right?
It's probably going to be the least popular because they know... Every time I see him post a trailer or something about it...
You know he doesn't care about it
anymore. He doesn't write anything. It's just like...
Publicity-wise,
it's like, it's like Witcher 3, hashtag Witcher 3 trailer. It's probably the absolute minimum that he has to do contractually.
Yeah, because he doesn't promoting care anymore.
And yeah, so... I feel like if you're a Henry... Which he is such a nerd, like... I think there doesn't seem to be many actors like him.
No, not really.
A lead man who reads comics, plays video games, passionate about video games. Like he's bragged about being a PC gamer and PC's better than console. and he's read the Witcher books before even being involved in the Witcher series, and he's played all the Witcher games and loved them. It's very rare that you get an actor that's that passionate about a project and then they drop the ball.
Yeah, conflict issues, and they just
Well, wasn't it also like he wanted to be more heavily involved?
Yeah, because he knows the content.
Yeah. So that's on them.
I do agree.
And who did they cast to cast one of the Hemsworth
I think
brothers?
it's Liam, isn't it? That's going to replace him.
So we'll see. I mean, I'll watch it. I've watched all seasons of The Witcher. I just don't think. I think if you're a Henry fan, you probably end up stopping after season 3, which is unfortunate, because especially since he was supposed to be Superman again, which was pretty. I remember we talked about it on the pod. We were both excited.
Yeah, exactly.
For that very brief moment of excitement, until all of a sudden he wasn't no longer, which is feels bad, man. Feels bad. Speaking of Superman, we will have recorded our Flash reaction.
Flash.
So we'll keep that.
Spidey.
And Spider-Verse, which we haven't talked about because we wanted to make sure we saw both films.
Yep.
And just have a couple things already up the pipeline, so it'll come out a little later, which is good. We won't spoil anything for anyone. Yeah. But definitely stay tuned. I would say maybe a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, it'll definitely be out.
Yep.
And you can get our full reactions to
both of those movies.
What arguably people are calling the best Spider-Man movie.
Yes, not arguably. They are. Everyone is
best
calling
Spider-Man
it best
movie,
Spider-Man
period.
movie. Does not matter
and
what else.
The Flash, which I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Have you heard anything about it?
Oh yeah. And The Flash.
And The Flash. That's it.
But definitely stay tuned for that. It's
a treat. Well,
it'll be interesting.
I'm super curious because I know for a fact that on the episode that we're going to be talking about those two, I'm just going to be giving out a bunch of Easter eggs because there's a crap ton of Easter eggs in both of those movies.
That's fair.
So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Also, we got the day this episode comes out is also the day that the first episode of Secret Invasion comes out. It's only going to be 6 episodes, which I
thought they got another trailer for it, which was
more trailers, and then Marvel released their whole like Marvel Legends thing.
So what are you hoping comes out of Secret Invasion? What are you hoping to learn? What are you hoping they further?
No expectation for it. I'm gonna be honest.
What we're supposed to be knowing? Like what?
Like it's Talos comes back, I guess. And I mean, there's one post-credit scene where Fury's been with the Skrulls, and I'm assuming this is just Fury's return back to Earth. But then are we gonna see that like
kind of show like, hey, he's still here?
Well, my thing is when is this gonna take place is a big one for me.
Oh, you mean like in the current timeline?
Yeah, because because my only theory I have behind this is that some of the show is gonna take place during the blip, and this is why. Because there's a post-credit scene we see where I can't remember. I think it's end of the second Spider-Man one. It's Nick Fury and Maria Hill are driving down in a car, and then they change, and it turns out that they're Skrulls. Like it's Talos and someone else, right?
Yep.
And then a movie later, we see that Nick Fury got blipped.
Yep.
And then, or movie 4 after that, and then at one of the more recent movies, we see Nick Fury is with the Skrulls in space or whatever, right? My thing is, did Talos and the other Skrull that played Maria Hill, did they still pretend to be Nick Fury and Maria Hill during the blip? So it makes it look like Nick Fury was never gone, and Nick Fury has come back to Earth to deal with the repercussions of
what he's done.
Exactly.
And his stand.
That is my only thing. I mean, we can read a quick description here. Maybe this will reveal
You would also
something.
think that it would have to also involve current timeline in terms of the reason to bring the Avengers together, or the new Avengers, or whatever they end up calling themselves.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's who brings them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so
all we have is that Nick Fury uncovers a conspiracy by a group of renegade Skrulls to control Earth by assuming positions of power across the world, recruiting Everett K. Ross, Maria Hill, and Talos to stop and save humanity. I do know that there's going to be a couple characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that is going to be in this show.
Like cast members? Like
cast
from
members,
the
yeah.
I saw that Emilia Clarke's in it, so she's in the MCU now.
Yep, Emilia Clarke. She plays Gaha, which is Talos' daughter. Rhodey's going to be in it. I'm assuming he'll kind of just pop up as he did like in the beginning of Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of thing and just not play a big role. But yeah, there's only 6 episodes. Again, I don't have any expectation for this. The Skrulls look cool, I guess. I mean, you can't really mess them up.
It's got a good budget, so you kind of expect. But
listen, we've seen TV shows and movies with good
but
budget.
it is Marvel. I'm not saying they don't make anything bad, but their bad is a lot better than a lot of other people's bad.
It is true.
What do you think about Nick Fury? Do they get, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if you never watched the show, Phil Coulson ends up becoming the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
But then he's not the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Nick Fury is actually
alive
there the whole time, just in, very, very underground, very past, a lot of security measures and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's not actually him. Do you think they do write out Samuel L. Jackson and have someone else take over as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Not necessarily in a show, but just to take over that part of that character that represents S.H.I.E.L.D. That's kind of like, oh, we need the Avengers.
I could kind of see Everett K. Ross's character taking over S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's like Martin Freeman's character. He's in a good amount of MCU now that I think about it.
Well, yeah, and he plays big roles in Black Panther, both the Black Panther films, right?
Yeah, and he was in Captain America: Civil War. I think that was his first appearance. And then he was in the first Black Panther, the second Black Panther, and then he was also in some of the TV shows as well. Secret Invasion. Was he not in another TV show? I thought he was in one of the other MCU shows. But he has like a big connection to the girl that's playing like Madam Hydra and stuff, as we saw briefly in Black Panther too.
Or we can see something maybe like Thunderbolt Ross takes over, says no, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s no longer in charge. It's the U.S. Army or
Don't
whatever.
think that's going to play into this one, only because
not necessarily this. I just mean that could be a progression.
My only argument towards that is the fact that Harrison Ford is now playing Thunderbolt Ross, and the fact that Harrison Ford hates franchises, I'm pretty sure, outside of Indiana Jones. But I don't know, because he wanted to, I don't know. But what I'm thinking
I don't know.
I'm just
Why
spitballing
would he do
here.
that, Matt?
Listen, I don't know.
Has he heard of the MCU? He
Probably
can't be that Marvel. He can't be that far under a
I
rock.
could easily see Harrison Ford being like, never seen one of those Marvel movies.
Well, I believe that, but I mean, you can't go without hearing about a Marvel movie.
That is true. I'm very curious, though. I don't know. I don't really know what is, because in the long game, S.H.I.E.L.D. is so irrelevant now in the MCU.
That's my thought exactly.
Like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. went on for way too many seasons. S.H.I.E.L.D. stopped being a thing by the end of Age of Ultron. Phase 3 onward.
Agreed.
Does frickin' S.H.I.E.L.D. even matter?
Well, they kind of turned into Hydra, and then, or for the most part, were Hydra, and then God knows how many of them got blipped, and
we just don't care. But I was reading a little bit.
But we don't care because we never got proper updates.
Exactly.
This is the update.
This is the update, and I'm gonna read the little description here.
Maybe they'll be like, the beginning is like, so I bet you're wondering what happened to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hi, I'm Nick Fury here. This is
we're recruiting you.
You ought to be a part of Strategic Homeland Intervention, the Logistics Division.
Well, join us now.
Join us now. We're working on an acronym. But Samuel Jackson says the series would dwell more deeper into Fury's past and future and allow him to explore something other than the badassery of who Nick Fury is, and to find out who he was and dwell into how much of a toll his job actually takes on his personal life. He continued that Secret Invasion allowed him to figure out some stuff and work out some new things with Fury, which Samuel Jackson did not have the opportunity to do in previous appearances. The producer of the show added to this, noting that sins from his past start to haunt him once again, given the things he had to do to protect Earth in the past have cost and ramifications.
So basically, it's just a hardcore story about Nick Fury.
Yes.
Past, present, future.
This is the 9th MCU show, by the way.
That's pretty crazy.
Does not feel like there's been 9.
It's also important because he is going to be in the new Marvels movie.
Yes.
I don't know how often, but I know he's at least in it.
Yeah, he's going to make an appearance for sure.
So it does feel fitting that we should get some answers about what exactly is going on with him.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this will obviously tie into the Marvels a good amount.
when the shows start actually mattering to the movies.
Crazy. But yeah, and then
Just waiting for Daredevil to be in the movies.
keep dreaming.
But I love Daredevil.
I know.
He's so cool.
I don't know if this list is updated either, because I know there was a big thing about Marvel push back some of the movies and stuff too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, there's some issues. I think it also has to do with the writer's strike, also has to do with the issues for the actor that's playing Kang, and like just a couple other things and conflict
because
issues.
he's kind of important for their whole phase.
Yes, just a little bit.
I can see that causing some, if they do end up needing to recast, that could cause a lot of delays, reshoots, etc.
A little bit.
Writer strike also doesn't help.
No, it does not. But I mean, with the Marvels, it's going to be weird that that's the first show that's going to be talking a lot more about what happened. The first movie that's going to be talking about what happened a lot on the shows. Because the Marvel's going to have Monica Rambeau, who was a big part of WandaVision.
Yep.
Then Nick Fury, who's going to be like from Secret Invasion. That's going to play a good amount of part. And then even like with Captain America next year, that's going to be playing from the Falcon Winter Soldier. Like they're finally starting to bring this stuff in.
Are you excited for the new Captain America film?
Ish. I'm intrigued. I mean, I'm excited because I really hope that we get to see Red Hulk.
Can you consider it a Captain America? Like, you know how we have the trilogies, and we've talked about it, but then we have some of these outliers, right?
Yeah.
Thor. And then we have this new Captain America movie. But isn't it? Would you kind of count this as a new potential trilogy?
I think it's a new potential trilogy because the way I'm looking at it is,
it's not Chris Evans, so like,
no,
it's not Captain America. I don't want to say it's not Captain America. It's very confusing.
it's Captain America.
Welcome to comics.
It's a soft reboot.
But it's not.
It's not because it's a continuation. But I'm looking at it as a comic book. We're back at issue 1. It's a potential
It's
of
a new
trilogy.
character that is taking on the role
Exactly.
or the mantle of an already established hero
Correct.
in the universe. And yeah, essentially we're starting over. They should have called it something else. Captain America something 1 instead of the fourth Captain
All
America.
new, all different Captain America. It's just called Captain America: Brave New World. I'm excited because they're bringing back the villain of the movie is apparently going to be the leader, and this is super niche because this character has not been in the MCU since 2008.
The beginning of the MCU.
The beginning of the MCU from a movie a lot of people don't even like, The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, I love that movie.
So the character's name is actually Samuel Stearns, but he's the leader in the comics. And who it is in the Incredible Hulk movie, if you've seen it, it's the Edward Norton one. The only time Edward Norton was the Hulk in the MCU. When he goes to get his blood tested, he's talking to Mr. Blue.
Yep.
He's like Mr. Green or whatever, and he goes to meet with that scientist. That is Samuel Stearns' character. Like, that's the character name. And there's a whole thing where he like something breaks, some of his DNA and his blood gets out, and then there's a single shot where you see Samuel Stearns' character on the ground, and you see his head is gushed open with blood, and that some of the Mr. Green's blood is going into that cut. And then we just don't see it ever again, and we don't talk about it. Very She-Hulky. In the comic book,
not how it happened in She-Hulk.
No. In the comics, there is, because Marvel does comics for the MCU movies. Like it's preludes or like extra things kind of thing, or like the adaptation of it to a comic book. And they talk a little bit more. There's a couple more like brief scenes of him becoming the leader in that. So, which fun fact about the Incredible Hulk movie is that character's coming back. But there's also another character that's in the Incredible Hulk movie that came back years later as well. And it is one of Peter Parker's teachers. So the teacher that has the glasses that's like super awkward towards him, he is one of the laboratory assistants in the Incredible Hulk movie that when Bruce Banner goes to the college to go like in that science lab or whatever, and he pretends to be a pizza guy and he drops off pizza to the one lab dude. While he's like, yeah, like here's pizza, like let me go do my things. That dude is Peter Parker's teacher years later. Same actor and everything.
All intertwined.
Anyways, I don't know. There's a lot of random obscure things in that movie that somehow have. I mean, Abomination came back too. They were literally bringing
Abomination did come back.
Everyone back from the Incredible Hulk movie, except for Betty Ross.
I think. Well, it's nice to see because then it's giving more credit because the MCU part of that movie is literally just essentially Thunderbolt Ross and the credits and the end credit scene with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
That is the tie-in of that entire film.
And the fact that I think the Hulk just runs away at the end.
So it is nice to start seeing other characters from that film be like, hey, it is part of this lore.
Yeah, exactly. As much as it's not technically a Marvel product, because I think it was Universal that did it.
Yep.
It's still important.
Yeah.
You know, Abomination's back. Hulk is still interestingly important. Now we have one of the other characters that was in that, and then obviously Thunderbolt
Did we
Ross.
get the new Hulk, you think, soon?
What do you mean? Oh, like Scar?
No. What's his face? The current Hulk in the comics.
Oh, Amadeus Cho?
Yeah.
I think he's in the MCU. I can't remember now.
But I'm just thinking, we are starting to get that point where a lot of these characters do need to, or actors, I should say, right? We need to start. I'm expecting a Miles eventually, soon.
I think so as well.
Because it doesn't sound like Tom Holland wants to be doing it much longer.
No, I don't think so either.
So, honestly, I could see the next Spider-Man film
being a Miles movie?
Not being a Miles movie, but being a Miles mentoring.
Okay.
Of Peter meeting Miles.
Yeah.
Peter being like, just train, like kind of like what people would imagine in like kind of Spider-Verse-esque. I'm thinking more from like the Ultimate Universe point of view, but
the kind of way I'm looking at the way the MCU is going is there was a big comic book. I think it was after Avengers versus no, it wasn't. It was the Marvel Now thing for the all new, all different Marvel.
Yeah.
When they soft rebooted a lot of characters, and this was Secret Wars. It was after Secret Wars 3.
Yep.
And basically, instead of Peter Parker being the main Spider-Man, it was Miles Morales was being the main
when
Spider-Man.
all of the universes combined into one.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't feel like that is a thing anymore.
Yeah, it never is with Marvel.
But it was a way of bringing in a lot of fan favorites from other universes into the main continuity.
Mostly just Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, those
real.
were the important two.
Those are the only big
And to
two.
give you an update was what was going on with the Fantastic Four.
Also true that. But otherwise, like, this is when Ms. Marvel became bigger, and then this is when Jane Foster was Thor. Steve Rogers got the super soldier serum taken out of him, so he
Tony
was
Stark
old.
was out.
Tony Stark was out. Riri Williams, who was in Black Panther, she became like the Iron Man character.
I liked her.
I thought she was pretty solid.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Falcon became Captain America, and then he got his Falcon.
I know it is cool to see all of it starting to happen. That's why it would be cool to see a live action Miles take over in the midst of a film where you could have, similar to how Tony Stark was for Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Peter could be that.
Peter could be something similar to Miles in terms of not necessarily maybe like the tech and stuff, but just, hey, this comes with a lot of baggage. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Some would say, you have great power. And with that power
comes responsibility. Good luck, kid. Get out of there.
And we could just have Peter die.
Exactly.
And then there's a new Spider-Man. And I love Miles' suits.
Miles' suits are great. And Miles is already in the MCU. Because I think when he sees the Prowler, he's like, oh, I got a nephew.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
mentioned.
Canonically in.
He's canonically in it, yeah.
And I don't know. I just love Miles Morales' suits. And they've been doing pretty good for the Spider-Man suits. I've loved all their designs for the most part in the MCU.
Yeah, I have no complaints either.
So I would love to see a Miles Morales take suit because I think all of his suits are sleek. It would also be cool. I know that everyone's obviously hype about Spider-Verse. So there's obviously all the different Spider-Man. We did technically kind of get our own little mini version of it. But what I would think would be cool is if they covered, this would involve having to keep Tom Holland. But I would love the clone conspiracy.
The clone saga, conspiracy. That'd be awesome.
I would think that would be fun. Also because those suits are hella cool.
Yes.
Those are some iconic looks, which would be cool to see. But I think the more realistic approach is having Peter Parker phase out. Most realistic way is to just kill him. It feels like a lot of work because they did the whole reset, and the reset will kind of feel meh if you only get one movie with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
But if you think of it as Tom Holland gets maybe one, maybe two more Spider-Man films, and he's in Avengers and the other part 2 of the Avengers, that's 4 films.
I would be okay if Tom Holland, for his Spider-Man character, became more of a show. And this is why. I think having Miles Morales in the movies would be great, but I think Miles should be introduced in a small 6-episode show with Tom Holland, and it would focus less on Spider-Man and more of Peter Parker.
We haven't got a lot of Peter Parker.
That's what I mean. I don't want to like, in a way,
We've
it'd be
talked
like
about it before. We want to see more of it. It
No.
has slowly gotten better with
Yeah.
showing off how intelligent Peter actually is. But it would be cool to see him on his own in university and be like, wow, he is above and beyond.
I think why I think it'd be great for a TV show too is that you would save money, but I think it'd be great. You see like not a high school drama style, but you see him like going to school. He's new to it. He's new.
Well, not just that. The very classic Peter Parker. Poor.
Exactly.
In a really crappy apartment by himself.
He's sitting in a classroom, asks the dude next to him for something because he forgot it. Who's that guy? Harry frickin' Osborn. Okay. Then boom. Now he just moved and Harry Osborn is now here. Oh,
The only thing we'd be missing is
cute
MJ,
little
though.
blonde girl walks in.
Yeah, okay,
Yo, what's
I see
up,
where you
Gwen
go.
Stacy?
Oh, you're going Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not around MJ anymore.
I was thinking Felicia Hardy.
Honestly, if it was Felicia Hardy, that'd be even better. Black Cat, baby. But that's what I mean. Like, regardless, you have...
Then you can bring Black Cat and you can have an MCU show Black Cat.
Exactly.
It writes itself.
It does. And this is all going to be taken in the exact same area where the Hawkeye show took place, where Daredevil's
And then you
taking
mean
place.
Miles.
And then you do that, and then just as more like, not Easter eggs per se, but you see Peter being like, hey, should I go to Spidey or whatever, right? And then he sees like he's online or something, or he's in class being like, I need to leave.
It's a good opportunity to bring Silk in too.
Silken would be great. Miles would be great. Just I can imagine him sitting there being like, "Can I need
You
to
bring
go?"
in Ghost
and then-
Spider. You can do a whole bunch, like you said.
Exactly. Even fucking bring Gwen Stacy into it.
That
As
would
Ghost
have been
Spider
a great
already.
Easter egg. I know that they showed Venom, but wouldn't it have been a cool Easter egg to see
Emma
Emma
Stone.
Emma Stone somewhere
I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
in a rock band?
Oh my! I wish, man. That'd be such a good Easter egg. That'd be like more obscure because a lot of people. But I guess the Spider-Verse movie.
Spider-Verse is too popular. People know who she is now.
Yeah. Ghost
And
Spider
such
all
a
the
like,
way.
I'm sure if you're even somewhat of a superhero fan, you see that you've probably seen the costume design and looked up who the heck is that, even if you haven't read or watched anything with it.
Honestly, Spider-Gwen is probably one of my favorite comic book designs in the
The
last,
Ghost Spider
like,
is a
Ghost
great
Spider.
design.
chef's kiss. I love the hood, love the ballet
The
shoes.
colors.
The white, black, and the accents of pink just makes
And the
it
turquoise.
so good. Yeah, and the turquoise, yeah. Because she doesn't have other suits, really, does she?
No, I think that's just it. I'm sure she'll get, a debris design or something, but I just don't think it's
I think
necessary.
she's been only, she's one of the few spider-based characters
She
that
is
has
still
not
relatively
had-
new.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, Silk has had different costumes and stuff already too, right? But she's kind of just like
But it's also the character's gone through different
outside of her becoming Gwenom,
figuring out who she
like
is.
Venom, Gwenom,
Yeah.
but-
Gwenom.
Gwenom.
Gwenpool.
I am Gwenom, Gwenpool as well, yeah. But otherwise, yeah, her.
That's just classic Deadpool.
But I
trying
also
to be Spider-Man.
love the Gwenom design as well.
Well, yeah, it just takes the accents from the initial suit and then just makes it a
Inverted,
black
basically.
Spider-Man suit.
The only thing I didn't like is I think some of it is like the teeth of Venom is like her hood kind of thing.
Different.
Like you can kind of see it here.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I kind
But
of
the
like
design is still pretty sick. Like that is some Gwenom and Carnage.
it. Oh, Matt and his symbiotes.
Love me some symbiotes. But anywho, I feel like we're just we're not rambling, but we're rambling a little bit. But anyways, we're gonna wrap up. I think we can wrap up.
Yeah. MCU
MCU,
and
the
Sony.
future. Captain America, Brave New World, 35th film, baby.
35.
That's insane. So the Marvels will be movie 34. Secret Invasion will be show 9. That's
It's a lot of content to catch up on if you're new, or if you're a parent, a new parent with some kids.
We're also getting 2 more shows this year, apparently.
When they start reaching 4 or 5 and they love superheroes,
Good luck.
that's a lot of content. But yeah, I
Yes.
think definitely some exciting stuff. We always say exciting stuff, like. there's
But
just-
it's
true.
exciting stuff though. Like
So I guess maybe we can even add in some of our first thoughts to Secret Invasion then in our
upcoming
we'll add
episodes.
it on. Yeah, we'll add it on to our upcoming little review episode.
Exactly.
So stay tuned for that. That'll be a couple weeks from now. Next week's episode will be covering some of the shows we liked from the spring anime season, and we'll be doing our
Summer anime
our
thoughts and
our
stuff.
every anime season overview of what we'll be planning to watch. So check that out if you're interested in what we'll be watching, and feel free to let us know what you plan on watching.
Heck yeah.
Other than that, we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you, and see you next week.